Hey guys, I'm Woo. Welcome back to another Division 2 build video, and today guys, this is the OXIDIZER skill variant. Again, in the gameplay you can check this build out. It is sexy strong in PvE. This is one of my favourite builds at the present for PvE content, and simply because my great buddy Rich, he put this forward to me. He says, can you create a OXIDIZER skill build that has huge value in PvE, and not just the generic Seeker Mines or Hive Stinger or Assault Turret, etc, etc. Can you do something a little bit different? And how would you build it, and how much damage you can kind of gather from just setting the pieces up and utilising some really good skill mods? And I've come up with this beast. Now the gameplay in more entirety, you will see that in yesterday's video. I just blast the link at the top right about now, so check that out if you want to see more footage. But guys, let's do this. Hey guys, yes, I'm Woo, back once again like the Renegade Master with another skill build for PvE. And again, my good pal Richie has requested this, so check this build out. But first and foremost, formalities. The thing I do want to say is that I have noticed that 79.6% of people that watch these videos do not subscribe. Guys, please subscribe. I am a nice guy. Everyone will tell you this. I am a really nice, genuine person. So please subscribe. Cherry on top and all that jazz. But yes, there you go. Let's get that percentage a little bit lower. Let's do this. Now, if you do enjoy the content, then please drop a like. If you want to see more Division 2 content, then please smash, yes, you know that, I've already mentioned it, that sub button. Check this build out. Guys, this is my OXIDIZER build for PvE content. That absolutely, it shreds. It shreds NPCs. Now, is this build viable in PvP? That is one of the first questions that people ask. I would say I would not use this in PvP. It does have value. It does have some nice qualities for PvP, and the OXIDIZER skill, that skill damage, does not take into consideration hazard protection. So guys, it has a value. I'm a little bit squishy in PvP, in all fairness, at 256k armor, but still there is a value. And again, you guys can make this a little bit better in terms of viability in PvP. Now, I am rolling with the Nerf gun specialization, and in doing so, that grants me that extra 50% skill power, which gets me from 2k to 3k. So don't get me wrong, you can use the Survivalist or the Demolitionist if you have some really good rolls on your gear to get you to that elusive 3k that you need to be at to get the most out of your build. Now with this build, it's something that I really enjoy rolling with, because as I'll demonstrate in the range how powerful this can be if built right. And this is close to being really, really, really amazing. Now, I have 2 offensive stats, I have 4 defensive stats, I have 14 utility stats, and it's key, it is integral to roll as many utility stats on this build as possible for that extra damage output from BTSU gloves. Now, we'll go through the gear and I'll explain why I'm using what I'm using. The mask is the China Light Industries Corporation mask. Now, that grants me that 10% explosive damage, which is nice. 51% damage to elites. Again, this could be a fraction higher. You know, we're looking 55 to 56%. If you have that, then great. A little bit of skill haste at 19%, and destructive, which is at 40% explosive damage. Again, that is nice to have on the build. The chest piece is ongoing directive. I'm not rolling any more pieces other than this one, and that's simply because of the attributes. Again, 361 skill power, 19% total armor, and 15% explosives damage, which does work very nicely, and again, it works in tandem with your Hive Stinger. So it's something again to bear in mind. Now, my mods have weapon damage, assault rifle damage, and marksman rifle damage. Armor with total armor and explosive resistance. and skill power, headshot kill XP, and some more explosives damage. Now we'll take a look at the holster. The holster is the D&H brand set, which is 5% accuracy. Now this doesn't have to be this particular brand set, but I'm using this piece because it's got the pieces I need, which are skill haste at 43%, which is a nice healthy whack, and then hard hitting, which is 25% damage to elites. The key with this build is to stack as much DTE as possible. That will garner you much more damage, and again we'll demonstrate that in the range very shortly. In terms of the mod, it is skill power with 3% bleed damage. The knee pads again is the Alp Summit Armament brand set, and that's 20% skill haste, 10% skill power, 322 skill power, and calculated, which is the bread and butter on this build, and that's why this build shines, because of calculated. Kills from cover reduce skill cooldowns by 10%. Now, when we say kills, it doesn't necessarily have to be with your weapon, and again I will demonstrate this at the end of the build. Now once you're sitting in cover, and again this is a build that would sit in cover, and you need to have better aim than what I have. I am potato aim in all fairness, so if you have decent aim with this, you will be absolutely monstrous in PvE. It absolutely, again, it's the whole butter scenario, it rinses through NPCs. Now the two mods, again I've opted for this piece, again because of that, the Alp Summit Armament, the two piece of the skill power. This gives me as well that defensive armor mod, so that's armor, total armor, protection from elites, and another utility mod, which is skill power, grenade damage, and 3.5% bleed damage. The sexy BTSU gloves, and most of us do have these now. If you don't, guys, keep farming. They are definitely worth it if you're into your skill builds. It takes your builds to a different dimension. So BTSU gloves are uber powerful and something I would definitely try and grind out. Now, in terms of the talents, there's elemental gadgetry. Skills that apply status effects gain 50% status effect duration and plus 50% skill haste. And energy infusion. Whenever you apply a status effect, your gloves become infused with that effect for 60 seconds. While infused, you gain 10% skill damage, 10% skill healing and repair, and 10% skill duration for each utility stat that you have. I have 14. That's 140% of those chosen options. So skill damage, healing, repair, and duration. Applying the same status effect while infused does not refresh the infusion. Now the final talent is charged proxies. Whenever you throw a skill 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion, applying the infused status effect to all enemies within 6 meters. Enemies affected by the infused status effect take 50% more damage from your skills. In terms of the three mods, they are skill power with bleed damage, skill power with more bleed damage, and armor, explosive resistance. Those naughty negotiated dilemma builds. I don't like you guys, but anyway, total armor 5.5%. And then the backpack. The backpack is a necessity on this build. It is. And there's a trick. There's a trick, and again, this is a neat little trick that I will show you very shortly. But it's key that you have a particular talent on your build. Now again, I have the perfect percussive maintenance backpack. So again, that's that skill power and skill haste. I do wish my skill haste was a tad higher. However, beggars can't be choosers. But this is a really good rolled backpack. And it's perfect. I mean, perfect for this build. Perfect tech support. Kills by active skills and explosives grant plus 30% skill damage for 10 seconds. Again, that's great. And that's an extra 30% skill damage. And it's key. Again, just to absolutely garner some more damage from your skills. So again, perfect tech support is awesome. And skilled is an option, yes it is, but don't go down that route, go with perfect tech support. It has a greater value because this is active pretty much all the time, as you've seen in the footage. Now, the creme de la creme, this is what I wanted on the build. Somewhere on this build, it has to have capacitive, which is plus 50% skill duration. And that works hand in hand with two of my skills. And we're looking at the, yes, you guessed it, the Hive Stinger. That's perfect. But also, more importantly, yes, my Oxidizer. This grants me an extra 2.5 seconds of duration of that cloud. So when NPCs are there, that you think of that extra damage that you can dish out. So you have that cloud damage of 7.5 seconds, which I'll demonstrate shortly. I'll show you in the skills. But 7.5 seconds, whereas the base on this is 5 seconds. So capacitive is a talent you need on this build, because it will pay dividends, trust me. Now the mods. The mods are skill power, bleed damage, burn duration, skill power, burn damage, and bleed damage. That's the gear. Let's take a look at the weapons. My primary weapon is a CTAR 21 assault rifle, health damage 29%, yada yada yada, 11.7k base damage. Again, this is a very high RPM assault rifle, and it's not a great weapon for PvP. It isn't. I'd prefer something like a P416 or an MK16 or even a FAMAS. However, with that being said, it has the talents I need. Simple as that. So if you have a slightly better AR or a more comfortable AR that you prefer to roll with, you have to look at a certain set of talents that are integral to maximizing your damage on this build. Now, Sadist, deal plus 30% weapon damage for bleeding enemies. After 3 kills, applies bleed to the next enemy you hit. This is a no-brainer. Get it on your build. This synergizes and works and transfers that damage to your Hive Stinger. So you're going to get the weapon damage, and you're also going to get the extra skill damage. Yes, guys, it does work, and it is great. So this is a no-brainer for your top slot. Now, in the middle slot, I have distance. Again, I'm using this from afar, so it's a case of just dropping, and I like to have the extra 15% optimal range. It does kind of go hand in hand with this build. I'm happy how it's set out. Recharged. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration, charges, and ammo. Again, guys, what you have to think about is this works with your Hive Stinger and will grant you an extra 2 charges. In the grand scheme of things, you may think it's not a hell of a lot, but it's a nice extra bit of damage. So yes, I'll take that all day long. And it also transfers to, yes, your lovely Oxidizer skill. So that gets it to more so 8.75 seconds. It'll add an extra 1.25 seconds onto your duration. Again, it's something to bear in mind. So you have a longer deployment of that horrible, nasty, poisonous gas that's there that will absolutely just shred through any NPC that steps foot, including yourself. Trust me, I've done it. So, charges and ammo, yeah? So, great place. That's what I want on this build. So, say this distance recharged. The mods, damage to elites, 10%. Ace. I'm losing that 10% optimal range. You can see now why. Happy days. I've gone for optimal. So I'm still gaining 5% optimal range. It is what it is. But I'll take that all day long. 10% damage to elites is a nice whack of extra damage. 10 rounds, critical hit chance, and yes, damage to elites. So just on this weapon, I have 15% damage to elites. Nice. My secondary is the military G36. Now, I use this for one purpose only, that is the holster talent, Rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when exiting cover, can occur once per 60 seconds. Now, Rooted, again, it works as a holstered talent. So this does not have to be on your primary weapon. It can be on your secondary or your sidearm. You will still get that extra 25% extra damage. So don't worry too much about that, guys. You will get that extra damage. Now the mods, accuracy rounds, critical hit chance, and damage to elites. And finally my sidearm. This is my skill build sidearm with perpetuation, accurate, and in rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. And of course it will, because you are shredding with your skills, so you'll get this proc every 60 seconds, that's for sure. In terms of the mods, optimal range and critical hit chance. Now we'll take a look at the skills and we'll see why I'm in a happy place. Now the Hive Stinger has a refill speed of 1.6 seconds, which is crazy. There's a really good healthy amount of refill speed. Yeah, it's great, I'm loving it. It has 22 charges. There's an 8 meter range, 75 second duration, and a health 151k. My damage is 131k, and the PvP damage is 21k. Now, you could go for extra damage instead of charges, or radius instead of damage or charges. You have options. I've opted for, as you can see now, damage and 2 charges. Now, the 2 charges mods, you can see 90% and 86.4%. These could be a tad higher, and it might grant me an extra charge. You know, so in the whole grand scheme of things, it is what it is. It's still an amazing place to be. And yes, this is crazy. And again, damage to elite will synergize with this skill. Again, I'll demonstrate in the end of the video. You'll see how powerful the Hive Stinger is against NPCs. Now, what the build is all about is the Oxidizer Chem Launcher. Now, I have 7 ammo, 15.1 second cooldown, a cloud radius of 3 meters, a duration of 7.5 seconds. If I remove capacitive from the build, that will drop to 5 seconds. Yes, that's pretty cool. So that's an extra 2.5 seconds. And again, as discussed earlier, recharge will get me that extra 1.25 seconds. So 8.75 seconds what we're looking at. Cloud damage of 39,000, that's pretty cool. PvP damage is 13,657. Yeah, it is what it is, but still, it's not too bad, and it does work a treat in PvP. If anyone's going to stand in that cloud, you're just an idiot, in all fairness, so trying to avoid that cloud damage. And again, if you go in there, you are melted. The mods, 2 pretty cool mods, ammo plus 6. And it's key to get ammo on there, that's for sure. Ammo needs to be your primary choice. Now, your secondary choice is none other than damage. It has to be damage, because you want to stack as much damage on this build as possible. And as you see, 39,000 cloud damage. That's base. That is before any procs. That is red bar. That is it. So guys, as you can see, this is quite closely a god roll mod. You know, you get another 1, 2, 3%. Happy days. But still, it's in such a great place. And again, if I get a little bit more, a few more percent, that would again creep over 40k. So you can see how powerful this cloud damage is, and I'll show you how quickly you can get it back as well. So yes, guys, this is the Oxidizer Chem Launcher. It's great. It is really, really strong in PvE. Now let's take a look at the stats before I show you the build in terms of in action. Now these are the weapon talents, weapon stats. Again, you can see this is a build that centers around your skills, and it synergizes through your skills alone. Damage output from your weapons is minimal, and that's because, again, you are creating carnage with your 2 skills. Don't get me wrong, Seekers are brilliant. Flame Turret, in its way, is still quite strong if you build to kind of defeat that horrible duration object. But the Oxidizer offers you something different, and if you have good aim, you're laughing all the way to the bank with this skill. Now, my assault rifle damage is 19%, as you see, it is diddly squat, but again, I've not opted for weapon damage on this build whatsoever. But my damage to elite is 91%, and that is sexy, that's where I want to be. My explosive damage is 67.5%, so I have a good array of damage through my skills, that's for sure. They're the gear and the brand sets. Now, let's take a look at the skill haste on this build. Skill haste is 99%. Okay, if I had a slightly better rolled backpack, you see mine was about 16-17%. Generally, you can get them quite easily to 30%. Again, that would bring everything in much a better place. So yeah, there's so many more ways you can just further enhance this build. There really is, and it is already awesomely strong. Now, let me demonstrate how powerful this is. Let me just change this. Let me change it from easy to medium, medium to hard, and hard, yes, you guessed it, to very hard. Now, let's just take a look at the NPCs, you can see there. And the little chest symbols come out. That means that calculated is ready and you have it active. So once you prop your skills, then you watch this. So there's some nice sexy damage. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch to this beast. Now watch this. 125k. Just watch the duration on this. And you can see the charges refilling at just light speed. And the consistent damage, again, which is that sexy. You see, it's still going. Happy days. It is still dealing damage. 133k. Crazy. There you go. That's a good near 10 seconds of extra damage. When everything's proccing, happy days. But what you need to do with this is synergize it with the BTSU gloves. Now, we've seen the talents proc on the screen. What I want to do is, again, just show you this. Now, when we use this stinger, and you just watch the gloves will change from blue, to red. And again, that will get me that extra bit of carnage on this build. Now, as you can see, in terms of the Hive Stinger, we know it rocks. It's mint. It really is. Now, you see there's 2 charges. Let's see how quickly we can get my charges back. Just let it sit there and just let it take out the NPCs. And you can see the charge speed is insane now. And again, it just consistently sits there and does mental damage. It's still going. $133k all day long. How many NPCs can we take out with this? But now you can see now why capacitive is so important on this build, because the extra 2.5 seconds, and you think about it, regardless of how many NPCs are there, you are going to create thousands and thousands, potential millions of damage with the extra 2.5 seconds. So yeah, it's pretty nifty. It really is. And again, one more time, I'll just proc the BTSU gloves with the Hive Stinger. You can see there's the proc. Again, about 890k damage to elites, what we're looking at. That's pretty nice. Now let's just use this sexy oxidizer. Okay, you can just sit there and watch this all day, simply because it just continually rinses through NPCs, red bar, purple bar, and elites. Good night. There you go. So yeah, and again, it's continually doing it and calculated, which keeps proccing, and again, diminishes that cooldown even more. So guys, yes, this is my Oxidizer build for PvE. It's crazy. We've seen up to 133k damage. So do I recommend it? Yeah, it gets the WOO stamp of approval. That is for sure. It is a hell of a lot of fun rolling with this in PvE. And guys, yeah, it just shreds. You pop that in a choke point, in a spawn point. Good night. NPCs. Go eat a bag of dicks. Done. Simple as that. Guys, there you go. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. And if you want to see more Division 2 content, please smash the sub button. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.